everybody, we are back. This is your boy Marcus Norman from Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we have the incredible, amazing Miss Jeri and Jamia, and they are an incredible, dynamic, powerhouse mother and daughter team, and they are powerful and necessary. Their movement is changing the way mothers and daughters interact with each other. They are here to heal and break generational curses. Within their Unfiltered brand, these ladies have hit several key areas to ensure they have the ability and means to reach the masses. And as they continue to make strides in helping mothers and daughters heal completely, this team is phenomenal. They are both certified life coaches and co-authoring a book that's coming out. We're going to discuss that later on. So help me welcome these dynamic ladies to the stage. Miss Jeri and Jamia. Yeah! Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies, for joining us on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to be with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was an absolute pleasure. So jumping right in, ladies, what is your inspiration? What inspires you? What motivates you and gets you excited in the mornings?
Yeah, so we're excited every day, all day, right? But what gets me up in the morning is knowing that God has yet graced me with one more day to make an impact in this world. One of my sayings and mantra is that one person, can impact the world. So we don't have to have a group of people all the time, but one person can really do it one step at a time. And so it gets me up in the morning knowing that because he gave me one more day, then that means I've got stuff to do, people to see, and lives to impact. And I am excited. Once you find your passion, you can't help it.
Yes.
Love it.
Love it. Love the energy. Miss Jamia, what gets you excited? What are you passionate about?
So my passion really keeps me up at night. I'll say it doesn't even wake me up in the morning. I say it keeps me up at night because when you truly find that thing that you are destined to do and what drives you and gives you passion and fuel, it will keep you up at night, right? You're writing things and God is giving you things to do, right? And visions that are bigger than yourself. And so that's what motivates me, because I know that I still have, like my mom said, still have work to do, right? Still have lives to impact, and really women to awaken, because I never want anybody to fall into a trap that I can not prevent, but I can at least share my story, and you can do with the information what you want to do with it, right? But at least learn from my mistakes, and learn from some of the things. So that's what gets me up and keeps me up.
I love that. That is huge. That is major, right? And that's the thing that makes entrepreneurs. I love the entrepreneurs because we are world changers, right? You set the tone for everything, and you're the pacemakers. You're not following someone else's path. You're creating your own, and you're giving women, mothers, daughters, a space that they can now follow behind it as you lead the pack. So thank you, ladies, for what you do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So tell us, you all are doing multiple different things. What's a routine, right? What's a morning routine that you all do that highly successful people do, that you do every day, that has benefited you in, I want to say business, but just generally, what's a morning routine that really sets the tone for the rest of your day?
So I can go. I know for me, I plan my day, right? So I have lists upon lists upon lists of things that, in order of acuity, right? Things that I need to get done for that day. And I categorize them because we do have so many things going on. It may be business, it may be work, it may be personal. What do I need to get done for my children? And I put those things in those buckets so that I can attack them strategically, right? We all are given 24 hours in a day. But in addition to giving thanks for that day is also being intentional about what can I reasonably get done today? Because it can feel overwhelming and taxing and all of those things. But if you can ever get to a place where you can plan your day, you've already won half the battle.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
And
true.
for me, through my own personal self work, counseling and things like that of that nature, I was told that you are to spend some quiet time in the morning with yourself, with God. And so that kind of gives you some motivation, some direction. So the things that you thought you were going to do may now be directed a different way so that you can fulfill the things that you have for today. But I also feel like my part of my day is now that I'm learning to delegate. And so now I am also empowering other women in our staff and people like that so that they can also take the ball and run with it. Because what I realized is I was getting burned out because I was doing it all myself or trying to do it all myself. And so now being able to not only do the delegate, but also pass the torch and train and encourage and motivate other people so that they're able to do the work that you do, so that in return, it releases you to do other things that you have to do. And so it kind of lifts that heavy burden that you carry every day that says, I've got so much to do. Are we still bogged down sometimes? Absolutely. But then I have to step back and readjust and say, okay, what can I do to help someone else help us in this vision? Because when I help them, it increases their knowledge, it empowers them, and it helps me in return. So that's kind of my daily mantra, and working on it every day. But it's
Absolutely.
work.
That's all we can do. That's all we can do. That hits the nail on the head. And you're speaking to something that a lot of women, a lot of mother daughters face, right? And it's the challenges. It's the day to day. I have to be here. I got to do here. I got to do my hair. I got to pick up the kids. I got to deal with everything that comes in life, right? All the troubles and problems that we face in our day to day actions. So, in your experience, ladies, you all are authors, business owners, but also counselors and mentors for mothers and daughters. In your experience, what are some of the things that you've seen that are true, consistent pain points for mothers and daughters in your experience?
Go ahead.
So the biggest one, well, I don't say the biggest one, but one that I've consistently seen has been either a lack of information or a lack of transparency, where they felt ill-equipped, right? So whether it had been teaching them, about their cycle, teaching them about how to properly date, right? I think some of us, especially in my generation, were told just not to do something and maybe not the reason behind it. And so we make useless mistakes, and, just different types of traumas, and asking questions and being open to your mother being open to answer those questions, right? Like, why did you do this? Why did this happen? And then there's some kind of secondary trauma with when you don't get the answers maybe that you're looking for. So I would say lack of transparency and lack of knowledge and
Yeah.
information is really trickles into kind of all of these areas.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also, I believe communication. And so being able to speak into your daughter's life, to build them up, to let them know that they can do X, Y, and Z, and that they are such, a beautiful person. They're gifted, they're talented. And I think sometimes we put so much effort on raising them. We put so much effort on giving them stuff and not pouring into their life, pouring into their spirit and equipping them to be the women of God that they were birthed to be. And so I think that lack of communication and sometimes a lack of a generational gap that kind of, puts some space there. And so therefore the daughter may feel like she can't talk to the mom, or the mom feels like she can't talk to the daughter. And so being able to really allow them to get that gap, break that cycle, and then, move forward. And I do want to say that I know you said counselors, we're more of coaches. And so we are there to assess where they are and then take them further. And so at some point, if we feel like it's more something that they need for a therapist, right, a licensed therapist, and we will kind of vet that out and send them to that particular person. Because, as coaches, we motivate, we encourage, we, assess the situation, and then we get them to the place that they need to be, and that is successful. And so that's what we're excited about.
Absolutely. And that's huge, right? And that's a big thing, because sometimes as a coach, and thank you for correcting me, as a
No.
coach, there are times where you need to take a bench, right? You need to take a seat. Girl, you need to have a seat, right? that does happen because we don't see ourselves. Women sometimes they get bogged down in the minuteness and the monotony and the hustle and the bustle that sometimes they need you all to come out with that neutral perspective and say, you are tired, you are overworked, you need to have a seat, or you need to pass it. You need to pass the torch, right? You need to get some help. And sometimes that help is external to us, and that's okay.
Right.
And sometimes I think one of the things that I experienced was I was trying to do it all. Like my mom was saying, I was trying to do it all. And sometimes like we don't have the resources to hire out, right? So I would really like to have a maid, but maybe I can't afford that. I would really like to have housekeeping, or I really like to have this service, and we can't afford it. And so, but you also can't afford to do everything. And so that was one of the things my mom, when she was raising me, she was very hard on me. She was like, you are going to be somebody's what day is my mother? You are going to have to get it together. And part of that I needed, absolutely needed. But the other part was that I didn't have to do it all by myself, or I didn't have to do it all, period. And so I overcompensated, and I tried to do so many things in an effort to validate myself through the things that it was never enough. And I kept feeling like I was failing. And so my encouragement to whoever is watching this is that you don't have to do it all, right? Yeah. Find the things that are really important to you. I might not be able to sleep if there are dishes in the sink, but I will sleep like a lamb if there are clean clothes in the hamper, right? So find your thing and do what means the most to you, and other people will adjust. So that's my encouragement to whoever's watching this. I know somebody's like, you put the kids to bed and you still have a list of 50 things to do. How do I prioritize me? Yeah. So don't feel like you have to do it all, because you don't.
Yeah.
Church, she just took us to church, y'all. This is the church. Thank you for that. You all are phenomenal. Ladies, you all are incredible. We have to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. You guys don't go anywhere. Stay tuned, stay with us. We'll be right back. Good day, podcast listeners. This is your boy Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I wanted to let you guys know that we will be rolling out a new feature and adding a join sponsor button next to the subscriber button here at the bottom of your screen. Once you click the button, it will display 3 membership levels: Gentleman Gentry, which is our entry level; Duke Duchess, which is our season level; and the Emperor and Empress, which is our most sophisticated level, which you will receive unique perks and benefits at each differing level and gain access to our community tab. We will also be sharing polls, upcoming events, and interviews, as well as receive feedback from our sponsors directly. Your support helps me find new and exciting guests to bring to the stage live. Well, in order to get the higher end speakers, it requires, you guessed it, money. So thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if becoming a sponsor sounds good to you, then select the join button below and choose your desired sponsor level. Let's continue to grow and serve the future of generations of men and women to come. Love you guys. Bye. Hey everybody, we are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. We have the incredible Miss Jeri Godhigh and Miss Jamia Ponder. And they are the phenomenal ladies leading the way, leading the charge, and taking women to another level. Not just in business, but in life. And they are here to spread the gospel. I love it. That is phenomenal. And what you just missed, if you missed it, tune in, scroll back, and check out. They just spilled some tea. Communication. Information is one of the biggest things that they have witnessed that are plaguing the relationship and the connection between mothers and daughters. And communication, right? We've heard it all. Communication is one of the biggest things. If you missed that, scroll back, check it out, and tune in. Now, ladies, Miss Jeri, you brought this up earlier, right? we are tired. The women are tired. Our women are exhausted. They're burnt out. And Jamie, you brought out information, having access to that information. So bringing those two things together, what are some red flags that a mother and daughter trying to find that communication and getting proper communication and who are in need of counsel? What are some red flags? What are the warning signs that a mother needs to seek you ladies out to get that coaching, to get that mentorship?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically, we all know what the red flags are, right? I would say anger, resentment, bitterness, and we all know what those feel like in some form, way, shape, form, or fashion. We know that in general, there is an expectation gap. I want it to look like this, but it looks and feels like this. And the big problem is we don't know how to get from here to here. So the red flags really, they play out in that way, right? It's neglectful behaviors. You circumvent the truth. You
Mm-hmm.
are, you have disdain between the two of you, and you just can't figure it out. Why? Or you're struggling in other relationships of your life because you can't figure out your home base. So
Right.
your mom and your dad are supposed to be your home base. That's where you learn how to communicate with other people. You learn how to get along. You learn the good things of life, the beatitudes and all those things. If that is troubled, your foundation is shaky. And so
Yeah.
you're going to find that in other relationships, in your life, they're going to also suffer
Mm-hmm.
because you weren't modeled that positive communication, that positive behavior. And in turn, you don't know how to model it. And so what we're hoping to do is to stop the generational curse of not knowing how to properly relate to
Yes.
other people. You probably suffer in your work environment and all of those things, but it all starts back at your home base. So those are, what I've seen to be red flags
Yeah.
in general. So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And denial, a big piece of it is denial. It's like anything else. When you can't admit that there's an issue, I've been there, right? So in my relationship in our family, I was the middle person. And so I was the one that covered up everything. And so it was my job to make sure peace was there. And so because of that, I would do whatever it took to cover up whatever was wrong. And so because of the cover up, there was denial. There was denial that there was any problems at all. And so then you go along in life acting like there is nothing wrong, where in retrospect, there is a major issue. And so we would look out, we would talk to the mother and the daughter and say, what denial, really exists in this relationship? Because like Mia is saying, you have to be able to face what you're in. And your base is what's going to determine how you respond and act in real life. So what happened in your home dictates how you now act in the real world, because you never sought that. You never looked at it. You never realized, where does this pain come from? Why can't I keep relationships? Why can't I trust anybody? Why is it that I'm failing in these areas of my life? And then denial says nothing was wrong back then. Everything was great. But in true life, we always pack those things in. But in real life there was something wrong. And so being able to talk through those things to say, what was wrong and where can we fix it?
Absolutely. I love that. Love that. We're going to take a question from our audience. We have Miss Patience Dean. She's a VIP sponsor here to the show, tuning in with a question for you ladies. She wants to know, what advice do you give to women who are already in the burnt out stage?
Yeah.
So
That's a good one, Mia. Yeah.
Miss Patience, sis, that was me. I was so burnt out that I fell apart, right? And so I would say to assess necessity, find out what it is that you are doing right now that is absolutely necessary and what can I put down? Because sometimes we carry things and burdens that don't belong to us. So start giving those things back, put down what does not belong to you, and figure out what is it that I absolutely must do. And then get back to a place where you can start to feed and nourish yourself, because you're burnt out because you're not walking your passion. You're not walking in your purpose.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Start handing back those things that don't belong to you, putting down the things that you've either picked up on your own that you felt you had to do, or that have been placed on you, and get back to the root of who you are and what it is that you were put on this earth to do.
Yeah.
Mm.
And my big thing is being able to say no. That was a hard one for me. The big N-O, no. Saying no to things that really doesn't do good for you and your family. And then putting, as Mia would tell you, she didn't say this time, but put yourself back on the list, right? So a lot of times we do so much that we cater to so many people and things that we forget that it's important to cater to ourselves. And when you find yourself again, you'll find life again. You'll find your passion. You'll find peace, and you won't feel so much burned out stage as much as you will realize, oh boy, I found myself again, and this is what makes me happy. And now that you're happy, you can make other people happy. Burnt out people can't make other people happy because you're so tired. So find yourself again. Say no to some things that you can do. I know it's hard. I had a hard time with saying no. Like I said, yes, I can do it. I can do it until I can't do it.
Knowing your calendar is full, knowing that you're booked up, knowing that you're busy, knowing that you have other obligations. Miss Patience Dean, great question. That's phenomenal, and that's huge, right? So many of our women are just overbooked, overworked, and so that's huge. Great question. Our second follow up question from another VIP sponsor, Miss Chrisanda Watson. She's a sponsor of the channel. What if you have a situation where the mother or daughter may not be willing to communicate? No matter the issue, it never gets addressed.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say I had a really hard time with this. Not with my mom, but it could be anybody, right? Not that we haven't discussed difficult things. Let's be clear, but you have to find your own fault. And by that, I mean, find how you've contributed to this situation. Because the bottom line is you're never going to be able to change anybody.
Right.
And so if you find out how you contributed to the situation, then you can find out how you want to continue to contribute to the situation, right? So if it's saying, Mom, I love you. I realize this has been difficult, but here's where I am. I apologize for my part in it. That's hard.
Yeah.
Okay. I've had to go back to people and apologize for my part in it, even when I was wronged, because I was left a mess. I dealt with it in the way that I thought was best, right? Even if it meant mistreating that person. And so I taught them how to treat me.
Yeah.
And so if you can ever find your fault, your place, your position, how you've added to it, not saying that you are the blame, but taking responsibility for where you are currently, only then can you change it, right? And that's by changing yourself and recognizing you may never be able to change this person, and figure out, how do I frame my life in a way that it's not going to impact me negatively anymore? I take control of this thing versus it impacting me in my, in my choices in my everyday life.
Yeah, that's good. But sometimes we can carry someone else's burdens, someone else's pain, and something that we can't honestly ever change. And so the only thing that we can do is make ourselves better. Like Mia said, go back to that thing and apologize, reassess where you are, what happened, what you did, and then you have to let it go. You got to be able to say, okay, this is a situation, whether the mother, daughter, or whomever is not willing to accept their part or that situation, you have to be able to only now take ownership for you. And then once you take ownership for yourself, assess where you are, and then move forward, then you're able to really live a successful life without waiting on someone else to forgive you or someone else to love you. Because you can't make them love you. You can't make them change, and you can't change their point of view. As much as we try, we cannot. We can give them back to God, right? And say, God, this is your child, and you handle that. But you have to move on with your life in such a way. You say, yes, that's my mom, though. I love my mom. Oh my gosh, you do love her, and you show her love, but sometimes it may be a love from a distance, until that relationship can be healed from the point of where it is, because if you continue to, it's like, beating your head against the wall, you keep going back to the same thing over and over again, you just feel defeated and you never get to the place that you need to be. So sometimes you just have to say, God, I give it to you, and I walk away. But you got to do that hard work up front. You can't just walk away and say, heck with them. You got to do the hard work up front and say, I apologize. I love you and I cherish you, and I want a relationship with you. However, if that's not what you want, I have to be okay with that. And that's hard. And we're not saying, oh boy, you can do it today and it's over, right? It's work. It's a journey, but you can do it. Yeah.
I hope that helps. Nuggets. I wanted to let that sink in because that's major, and that brings up the point earlier, right? If it's not, get it off of your plate, right? Give it back to wherever it came from. Get it off of your plate and get back to you. So, ladies, powerful. That's huge. That's powerful. That makes a great point. And I wanted to segue into this because one of the things people always say, one of the things I had a belief on, and I've heard it, and I know you all have heard it as professionals, but they always say, don't do business with family. But you all make it work. What's your secret? How do you make working with essentially mother and daughter family work? What's your secret? How do you do it?
Yeah, we're not saying it's super duper easy. Thank God, Mia and I get along very well. We do have a little bump in the road, but our mantra is that, or mantra, however you want to say it, is to stay in your lane, know your role, and then operate in it. And then we both have different roles. She's good at one thing, I'm good at another. And so we bring those things together and we just flourish. And so we thank God, that we have the opportunity to work together. And so with any working relationship, everybody needs their role. Stay in your lane, because when you get out your lane, then you start bumping into each other. So that's really kind of how we do business. We work together with our Allstate company. We also work together with our real estate company. And now we're working together with Jeri and Jamia Unfiltered. And so we are excited. But yeah, stay in your lane. That's me.
Stay in your lane.
Said.
Ditto. Ditto. Let's get it in there. Kudos. Let's add some. You can't add anything to that. That was powerful. No. Thank you, Miss Jeri. That's huge. That's major. And so, wow, you ladies have a secret, and I need some tea. I need some tea from my audience. You have an upcoming book coming out in May 15th. Can you tell us, can you spill any nuggets, anything that the audience, the ladies in the audience can look forward to about our upcoming book, your upcoming book?
Sure. So it actually releases on May 29th. Sorry, Mia. So it releases on May 29th, and we're excited about it. And so just a little tidbit is that, it's an anthology. And so it's written by 8 separate authors, And so we're 2 of them. But we're so excited because it gives stories of life, love, and how we lead as professional women. But I believe that there's some nuggets in there for an entrepreneur, for a lady in charge, a person in charge to get past that ceiling in their life to get to the next dimension. I didn't say level, I said dimension, because when you have an awakening in your life, you're able to move in a special way. And so I'm excited about that.
Ooh, I got goosebumps. The book ain't even for me, y'all, and I'm excited. I'm excited. Well, you know what? There are nuggets, right? There's nuggets in everything that we can learn. So I'm excited. I can't wait. Y'all check out that book. Stay connected. Stay engaged with these ladies and follow along. What advice would you give? And I hate to say this because this is the statistics on this is horrible. What advice, any nuggets that you would give to the single mom out there that's fighting to connect with her daughter, right? She's a first-time single mom. She's just doing it for the first time. She has no experience. What advice or tips would you give to her out in the audience to start off?
Yeah. So I have 2 girls, and I kind of was trying to wing it, right? Trying to figure it out because I was determined I'm going to do this differently. So my girls were young when I started. But one of the tools that I came up with that was really helpful was journaling. And so I would talk to them and I would say, you know, there are lots of hard things that, you know, mommy and I mean, you know, you and me are going to have to talk about along this life. Right. And so I would write to them in the journal and we would keep it on a bookshelf in my office area. And we would just write each other back and forth. But what it was doing was for the things that they were uncomfortable, even if it was small, the things that they were uncomfortable that they could articulate by writing, they would write it out and then I would respond to them. And so it was a slow process, but it taught them to trust. It gave them a place to go back to, even though it was a physical location, it gave them a place to go back to, and they would be excited, right, to get that note back. So I would say to start to, because communication is so vital and causes so many, it can cause so many issues. If we can ever figure out how to nail it on that ground level, we leave very little room for error. It will always change. It will always ebb and flow as you grow, as your children grow. But to start that base for communication, to start that base for trust, with the small things when they mess up, to give them grace, right? Because if they break something and you lose your mind, you are telling them, I can't make a mistake. You cannot make a mistake because I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you teach them how you're going to respond. So why would they come to you with something that's really difficult when I know mom ripped my head off because I spilled the milk in the kitchen? So use every opportunity, and we're not going to get it right all the time, but use every single opportunity as a chance to build something strong, to reinforce the foundation in your children's lives. It's so much more than just saying no. Start to question yourself. Why do I do these things? Why am I saying no? Okay, I'm saying no, Candy, because you guys have had 50 pieces today already, right? Why am I saying no? Why am I doing this? Why do I spank them or not spank them? Why do I spank them? I spank them. Whatever it is, question your motives and use every opportunity, good and bad, to reinforce something positive in your child's life, in your daughter's life specifically.
Yeah. And just to piggyback on that just a little bit, because I know we have to go, but I want to say to a single mother out there, I was single when I had Mia, and I was actually 18 years old, and I didn't get it right. We were growing up together. But what I want to challenge you, what I want to tell you and encourage you today is that you can do it. So even if you don't have the best relationship from age 0 to age 20, it's never too late to build a relationship. And what I would say to that single parent is, take a minute or two to listen to your child. Listen to them and show them that you are available in whatever form or fashion. Like Jamia said, if you complain about the milk on the floor, and you scream at them, they won't ever come to you for the big things, but show them that they can come to you for the big things. Because nowadays, with our generation differences, the millennials are facing and the Generation Zs are facing so much more than we ever faced. And so these problems now are much bigger, I believe, that was big, in our time. And so we want them to be able to come to us. And so building that relationship so that they can reach out. But it's not too late. It's never too late. That's why I look so young.
You look fantabulous. Both of y'all. Don't do that. Don't put that face. Y'all
You look great.
She looks incredible. Both of you do.
Bless God. Amen.
Absolutely. How can my audience connect with you? How can people find you, ladies, and connect with what you're doing and ride this roller coaster to the top with you?
Yeah, so they can find us on Instagram or on Facebook. Our Instagram is Jeri, so it's JERI_Jamia, JAMIA_unfiltered. And so they can also find us on Facebook, same way. And then they can go to our website, Jeri and Jamia Unfiltered, and that's AND unfiltered.com. Or they can reach out to our PR team at EPI Media Group, or they can find me on Instagram at the Mrs. Beside, and they can find me at the Mrs. Beside on Facebook or on my website, which is themrsbeside.com. THEMRS side, and never behind, sis. Please that. And then, of course, my mom's website, which is JeriGodhigh.com. So, I mean, honestly, just punch me up in Google, punch her up in Google, we'll come up. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Love that. That's exciting. That's exciting. My last question is, what's your favorite way to give back to the community?
Wow. So I love it. Here at Allstate, we give back to the, Must Ministries or, things like that, where we're able to give clothing, food, ministry wise, we're able to speak to young people. Also, I have been doing, bless God, the PTA for 20 plus years. And so I'm finally now stepping down from the presidency, and I'm thankful. I'm like, whew, my time is up. But
give it back.
I just believe,
give it back.
I believe in giving back, and also, reaching out to our young women and speaking life into them.
Same for me, with the exception of, PTA, she kind of planted that seed in me. And so that's how I give back and serve. I've also served on various boards for sports that my children have been in. But a couple of years ago, and of course, this was pre-COVID, I started taking my oldest, and I would go to Toys for Tots every around Christmas time, because we would put together packages for other children, because I wanted her to understand that, this is not just about her.
Yeah.
And be able to give back in that manner as well. So those are ways that we love to serve our community. And of course, because this is what we walk in every day, people are naturally drawn to us. And so I find that we're always mentoring somebody. So, they come and sit in my office, and they're like, just have a seat and share this. It's just, let me know what it is. So at any rate, that's kind of how we give back. We give back every single day, give of ourselves. And so, thank you for asking that.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you all. Thank you, ladies, for giving back in this way. I consider this a form of service. This is serving, and this is phenomenal. We need to spread the word. We need to get you out to the public and get the shine on you all, because what you all is necessary. Right?
Amen.
That's the word. As soon as you all came on, I said, these ladies are necessary. This is what the world needs. The world needs more of you. And so I want to say to you all publicly, don't ever give up. Don't ever quit, please, because every single day you make an impact in every single home, every family, every household, every mother, daughter relationship. You are changing the world. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And giving us a platform. Yeah.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure. I'm excited to have you ladies. Thank you again so much. And
May 29th.
May 29th. Y'all check it out. Stay tuned. Stay connected to these ladies. They are growing, and get the book. Stay connected. Get the book. Can't miss that. Like I always end every show, I want to thank you ladies all, and thank my audience for tuning in to the Gentleman Style Podcast show. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope this message has served you. I hope this message helps some mother, some daughter connect and want deeper for their relationship with their mother and be an active participant in that relationship. So thank you all. So like I always end every show, take care of your friends, take care of your family, and take care of business. This is Marcus Norman, Gentleman Style Podcast, Miss Jeri Godhigh, and Miss Jamia Ponder signing off. Love you all. Bye.